Welcome to our first Thursday show in a long time, and our first regular Thursday show, at least until things change. I'm Tom Connors. Rob is late, so we don't get any kazoo. And thus, yes, now Curtis, we are finally in Dolby Surround. That is right. How's everybody?
Oh, I can do the kazoo part for you.
Please don't. I was enjoying no kazoo this time. I was even thinking about singing the lyrics just to appease those who do enjoy the lyrics out there, because I can stomach the lyrics. I can't do the kazoo.
No, slide whistle's better anyway.
Oh, that voice you hear, of course, is the Queen Harpy herself, Mecca. How you doing, Mecca?
Hello.
And with us is the boss man for a short time. How you doing, Andre?
I'm good, thank you. Greetings, everyone.
And as soon as Script and Rob get here, they're fired. And joining us, a special duo, Mr. Keith and Gary from Pop Culture Minefield. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good, I think.
I'm glad to hear.
It's an honor to be on the show. I really enjoy what you guys have and your chemistry. You make me laugh. You guys are all icons to me, so I'm honored.
You. That's much appreciated.
Well, and you guys do great work as well. And of course, we've got a lot of mutual friends and stuff like that. And I think this is the first time we've had you two on together on the show.
Yep.
Yes.
So, which is really cool. But yeah, if you guys haven't yet, check out Pop Culture Minefield. They're a great channel. And we got some big news today, didn't we, Andre?
We did. We got some very big news. Of course, it shouldn't come as a surprise if you've been watching Midnight's Edge and some of our scoops from all our joint friends, Mikey Sutton, who was talking about this months ago. But basically now it is officially confirmed by way of Vanity Fair that got it from the director of the upcoming Flash movie, namely Ben Affleck will officially return as Batman in The Flash. And he ain't the only one, isn't he, Tom?
No, he isn't. And in really, really small writing here, Michael Keaton's back too.
Well, we knew that already.
No, well, sort of. I mean, I'm kind of
in talks. That's the point. He was in talks, but it wasn't a done deal when the talks leaked. But now it's a done deal. That's the difference.
Yeah,
and the whole plan with him is to make him the Nick Fury of the future the DC extended universe, cinematic universe, whatever you want to call it. We don't really have an official name for what it is, and they need to really nail that down.
I think they've been referring to it as DC films up to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because Mikey, you and I were talking about that one night, that that's what they're calling it, but they have not nailed it down as an official name for what they are. Whereas I think DC Cinematic would be a good way to go with it, or DCCU.
Yeah. And Kara sends in an Australian $5. Thank you so much. Says, wait, stop, Drinker and Nerdrotic are still discussing Star Trek 6. Of course, that's all right. And that's part of the reason we moved to Thursdays, to avoid Gary's streams on Wednesdays. But you know what? Shit happens. I knew we should have went live at 7 o'clock last night. So again, we'll play it by ear for our secondary show of the week until everybody knows what's going on. But we can only do so much. But yeah, this is pretty big news, not just for us, but I mean, anybody who's a fan of Michael Keaton Batman, of course, and Ben Affleck Batman. I mean, we've got Batman in movies. And if you haven't seen Rob and Andre and I's reaction to this over on the main channel, I suggest you check that out too. You get a little bit more of what we say over there, because we can't get so deep into it here probably, because also Andre, I know, doesn't have a lot of time, but this is all pretty exciting news, especially for anybody who's a fan, like I just said.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm excited, and this is really the ultimate dream for anyone that has, been a Batman fan, or I think anyone that has recently become a fan because of what they've done in the films. This is a great sign of things to come, and hopefully we'll get more like this, because this is what I personally, as a fan, would like to see. This right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree
agree.
completely. This is something that actually makes me excited. Like, this is something that puts this right at the top of my list of want to see comic book movies.
Agreed. And what I find ironic about this whole thing is that a company that is not an entertainment company is what's pushing this forward, AT&T.
Yeah, I think they're sick and tired of, I mean, after spending time just basically going through all the books and looking at everything, Warner Brothers has been in operation for several years that has just done things a little off. And I think they're wanting to just tighten everything up, and this is part of tightening it up. And inviting in someone like Dwayne Johnson and then having him on the payroll and not doing anything with him for quite a while. I mean, that's
more than a decade, actually.
Yeah, any other studio would have had him on something quick. And to have taken this long and then to turn around and do a deal with J.J. Abrams, who has made it pretty clear from his end that he would definitely like to use Superman. And you paid him all this money. This has just been one tremendous mess up, is what I'm going to say. This is not good, but they're straightening it out. So,
Nelson Shrita sends in $2, says Affleck's a good Batman, but a great Bruce Wayne. And yeah, I think we all were kind of in agreement on that.
Yeah.
In our video earlier, and a lot of the fans, I think, all felt like, you know what, Affleck did a great job. And I know a lot of people who had to come around and say I was wrong, because I know there's a few people who were like, oh no, Ben Affleck is Batman. That's just the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. And then after the movie, like, well, the movie wasn't that great, but you know what? Affleck kicked ass as Batman.
Well, it's always been that way. Even, pre-internet, you remember all the shit that went down when Michael Keaton got cast.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit different. I mean, I think the difference, though, was Michael Keaton was seen as a comedic actor. At this point, I think there was just a lot of people who felt like Ben Affleck had this aura of, oh, he can't. A lot of people, I think, forgot that this was the same guy.
Daredevil played a huge part.
Well, I was going to say Daredevil, and then the fact that a lot of people just forgot how much that he's been doing over the past few years. A lot of people were still hung up on the whole Geely, kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They forget that he's made Argo and The Town and all these other movies in the last few years.
Yeah, he's basically become someone who is a little more seasoned than many gave him credit for earlier in his career, and he loves comics. He's already proven that part of it. He knows this stuff, and again, I'm still probably one of the few that would still like to see at least read his screenplay for the Batman.
It sounds like we might see it if that's the case. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I mean, I'm just interested because to me, that is one of the biggest unfortunate things about this business. How certain people get stuck and can't get out of the rut to be able to do the other things they know how to do. And a good example of that is Sylvester Stallone. I keep saying Sylvester Stallone is an Academy Award winner, but he's an Academy Award winner not for acting, but for writing. And how different his career would have been if he had been encouraged to do more writing. I'm not saying that I haven't enjoyed his performances. I'm just saying that you could do better for yourself and really for everyone else by just doing more of that. And Ben Affleck is someone who's willing to do both because he has an Academy Award for writing. And I think that was his first one. And so the more you bring in all of your talent, I think the better off you are. And if they are going to allow us to see his Batman, I would love to see him direct it. I understand if he doesn't, but I'd like to see that.
Right, and let's be clear, there's like a few things that we did report on that have not yet come to fruition, or at least confirmation, but there's a lot of it that we have in this article. We have in this article that Affleck is returning, that Keaton is coming back, and they're all going to be in the Flash. That is something that we have reported. What we haven't heard yet is what else is happening, but that adds a lot of credence to the stuff we've reported on, right, Andre?
Absolutely. Like, if he's coming back, he's not coming back just for this one-off. That's something that he's going to do in addition to his own Batman project on HBO Max. So I would not be surprised if we get that announced at DC Fandom this weekend.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's gonna. I have a feeling we're gonna get a lot of announcements. Now, Andre thought maybe we'll get a Pattinson trailer, but I'm not so sure. So I don't think they've filmed enough yet for Pattinson. Maybe a slight
they probably
teaser.
didn't film enough.
Maybe a slight teaser, but
Well, they closed production shortly after the
yeah.
stories we had.
And welcome, Script and Rob, to the party. You're only 12 minutes late.
Oh, really?
Sorry, I'll chew faster next time.
I'm on it. Yeah. A tape delay.
You're fired. You're unfired. I need you. Come here.
I'm fired from every show.
That's for both of you.
I'm fired from more than Cosmo Q Space League fires George Jetson. Jetson, you're fired.
But we're already in the middle of the Batman news. So, yeah, like Gary and Keith were talking about with us here. We're talking about how this seems to be a step in the right direction. We all feel like this is AT&T's doing, probably. This adds a lot of credence to some of the things we reported and confirms others. And you're pretty much up to speed, I would say, unless there's anything else I missed.
Well, I'm still just surprised that they're actually committed to making a Flash movie, because they've been trying to get this thing done for the last 5 years. And with this new announcement, I would argue it's not really a Flash movie. It's now Batman featuring the Flash, or Batman featuring the Flash.
I agree completely. This is exactly what happened with the Batman v Superman all over again, because originally that was supposed to be Man of Steel 2, and then it was supposed to be Man of Steel featuring Batman the moment it became Batman v Superman. It's still a Superman movie, but it has a guest star in Batman. Gradually,
and it was also called Superman versus Batman first, before they flipped it and made it Batman at the beginning of the title.
Yeah, that could also be. But basically, by the end, of course, it was a Batman movie guest starring Superman, and that's what I said in our video. It's going to be the same thing here. You think that Flash is going to be the star of this movie? Yeah, in title only. In reality, he's now the guest star. Like, no one cares about him. By the way, that also confirmed your scoop to our distinguished guests, because Ezra Miller is still the Flash, just as you said he was going to be.
Yep. Unless something happens in between now and shooting time, we're going to see Ezra and Amber Heard, which, a lot of my friends, we've talked about it ad nauseum, that I'm, as much as I dislike Amber Heard, I have more issue with Ezra because he put hands on a woman. And that really, I was raised a gentleman and a soldier, and you just don't do that.
No, in any universe, I can't really see that being something that is ever acceptable. I don't know. I have an issue with both of them. Both of them are talented people, but they are also both very troubled people, and I'm still at a loss as to why they would continue to be associated with them like this, given how much money we're talking as far as future films and everything.
I have a possible theory on that, and that is basically that AT&T, they're not into cancel culture, and maybe they're going to take a stand. And as for me, I'm not a big fan of Ezra Miller's Flash, but maybe now we get to see why he was cast in the first place. As for Amber Heard, I definitely would have liked to see recast, but look at the bright side. We're going to have so much fun with her pooping habits.
Well, and with Amber, it could just be a simple, like, between an optics and a whole, like, contract thing. Kind of the same thing with Ezra. Like, I'm sure, like, we haven't heard jack shit about that incident since it happened. So it means he either paid everybody off or they just haven't had a chance to do anything because of the current situation, and that's possible. But as far as the Amber thing, same difference. Like, until everything is done and over with, they may not be able to just, like, totally fire her flat out. And same thing with Ezra. Like, I mean, that doesn't mean they necessarily have to bring her back, though. Like, they may say that they're not flat out firing her, but they may not just have her in the next movie, and then when anybody asks, it's just like, oh, she just wasn't part of the story. You know, they've done that shit how many times in Hollywood before. And the same thing with Ezra Miller here. As much as Muschietti says in this interview that, oh, it's still a Flash movie, blah, 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 blah. You can say that all day long, but you've got Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton in this movie. Ezra Miller is going to get fucking drowned out.
Oh, yeah. Well, not only that, like, even AT&T is all about making money, and they're a service provider. So what's going to happen is that once things kind of return to something a bit more familiar, they're going to assess the situation and wonder, hey, if we keep him in this movie, is this going to do well for the film, or is it going to actually have a negative impact? And they're always going to go with what's well. And if more of this story does start to reveal itself when people are able to integrate a bit more frequently, that will determine whether or not we see Ezra back in that plated metal Flash costume. And same thing for Miss Turd there.
Captain Air's $5. Come on, AT&T, give us all the Batman, including Clooney, just beating the shit out of bats. I think we'd all pay to see that.
I absolutely would. Before I go, I just have to. There was one comment I saw that was fun. Black Phoenix said someone should post a video of Amber Heard pooping.
Yeah.
Bed. Well, I don't think we're going to do a video of it, but of course we have the glorious art from Not Some Kids, and the picture of exactly what she left on bed has leaked online. So I'm sure we can have some fun with that. So yeah. That's the one thing I'm happy with. We're gonna have so much fun with this.
Oh Lord.
So, yeah.
Most fun with crap anyone's ever going to have on the internet.
Oh, absolutely.
Since what was it, 2 cups or 2 girls in a cup or whatever? Yeah. Oh Lord. So yeah, if you're
1 cup.
Yeah, if you're a Batman fan and you're glad Batman's back, then you definitely should run over to our store right now, because we've got this really kick-ass t-shirt that says I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
And to promote that shirt, our very own. Hello, buy my t-shirt. It's fucking awesome.
That's
and I get 25%. Get the joke?
Oh, yeah.
25%. Yeah, I watch you guys. I don't understand half the shit you're talking about, but, you know, buy my shirt. That's all. The Batmobile is double parked. It takes up 2 spots. I gotta go. You can find our link in the description, and I think I'll try and throw that in here for everybody too. But yeah, check out our Batman shirts over on the t-shirt mixed tees right now. But Andre, before you go, is there anything else you wanted to discuss real quick? Or
Yeah, no, I just want to say thanks for showing up, everyone, and also be sure to check the main channel tomorrow. We have some more DC scoops coming your way in celebration of DC fandom this weekend, plus a whole host of other things. So yeah, just check back real soon and enjoy the rest of the show.
we also have some Bill and Ted coverage too coming.
Yeah, that we do. Loads of different
Very cool.
Stuff coming up. So anyway, everyone in the panel, thanks for joining, and everyone in the chat, thanks for joining as well. And with that, I bid you farewell.
Farewell, Andre. See you later, man.
Take care.
Have a good one, Andre.
Rob, Adam Welford sent us $5.
You guys know what would make the Flash movie better? Bring in killer gorillas from Congo. I guess the Highlander reboot is dead.
Really? Oh, well,
They could do that. There are gorillas in the Flash.
Yeah, there's the gorilla guy. He's been in the series
There's
a couple times. Yeah, Grodd. I couldn't think of his name. As far as the ladder, I'm kind of mixed, because the Highlander is one of those that I keep forgetting when we talk about the movies that have potential as remakes. Like, yeah, Highlander has been like kind of watered down to death between the sequels and the TV show, like a good proper remake, it might not be a bad thing. But if the remake's dead, I mean, it is what it is. We still got the original.
Mhm.
What do you guys?
Yeah.
You guys Highlander fans or?
I'm a huge
big Highlander fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you guys looking forward to a remake at all, Gary?
No, I wasn't.
Script.
I got to be honest with you. Anything that comes out today that says remake, reboot, I automatically assume is going to be garbage.
Yeah. Script.
You don't need a remake. You got Highlander and Highlander 3.
Do they have Highlander up there in Canada?
Do they have what in Canada?
Yeah, do they have Highlander up in Canada? Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah.
It's in English, you know.
Yeah. Like
What about you?
we have our own Highlands as well, so with
Yeah.
the Scots and everything. So yeah, it would definitely translate.
I don't think Rob said yes, or I know Mecca didn't. Keith?
Yeah. I'm looking for. I mean, given who the director was, but I also like the original film. I love the original film. My twin brother and I think, went opening night here, and we just couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah,
the
that
sequels
first
we could give or take.
Yeah, that first film is one of those like Goodfellas and a few other movies where whenever it comes on, when I used to have cable, if I was flipping and it was on, I just get stuck watching it. Jaws, that kind of thing. Tim Scorpion sends in $2. Rob says, "Hear about cuties on Netflix? Pretty gross, huh?" Yeah.
That was
They apologized for the poster.
It's so creepy. It is
Enough
so
for all the
creepy.
Yeah,
boards
that's the French
dancing
for you.
around, shaking their asses.
I mean, this is not normally something we talk about here because it just gets into shit that we like. Let me put it this way: even the Moonves stuff, we tap dance around. You know what I mean? Like Rob, like we try to keep it classy. Like, and this is the kind of thing. Like, I mean, I'm not saying we wouldn't talk about it, but it's just I don't know.
Well, you're trying to
I
keep
just find there's.
what am I doing here?
I know.
I find the irony in the fact that they have this Epstein series, and then also are going to put out a show with little kids twerking.
Right. Well, and like everybody else is pointing out now too, and I pointed out yesterday to a few people. I don't remember if I was on a stream or where I was, but I was talking to somebody about it, and I said, it's just ironic. Like this is the same shit. Like it's funny. Like they call us whatever for bitching about
Liking adult beautiful women.
Yeah, adult beautiful women, and we're the problem, but we're not supposed to have a problem with this. And the things that have been slung at anybody who's gone after this show right now, it's just revolting. And
you're a dad, aren't you, Tom?
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a son, but I still can understand from a point of view of like
I have a little girl. She's an adult now. She turns 21 next week, and I protected her. I hovered over. I was a helicopter parent out of fear because of that crap. Somebody trying to sexualize my kid.
Yeah,
I've
that's
got a
the
daughter
thing.
myself, and,
Go ahead,
and
Keith.
it's horrible. I mean, it again, it's a fear that I had, and just being a dad who just every time you just have to watch your kid go out the door, and you have to wonder sometimes in the back of your head, this is not something that we needed. This is not a show that anybody's really asking for.
As Keith knows, because we discussed it openly, is my daughter was kidnapped, and and I had to get her back, and so my helicopter parenting got worse because of that.
Oh, I would imagine. No shit. Oh, Yellow Flash, how you doing, buddy? Ain't seen you in a while. But Jesse sends us a super chat, says, and Jesse, also a good friend of the channel. Can you discuss who would play Christopher Lambert's role as Connor? Did they have anybody? I can't remember. Who did they?
You talked about this.
I was say, didn't they have somebody already kind of lined up? But I can't remember who it was.
Is it Brie Larson?
I don't remember. I remember.
No, it wasn't Brie Larson.
I remember that
Wasn't Robert
Chad I remember that Chad Stahelski was really excited about trying to bring this to the fore, but it just seemed like he kept getting drawn off into other projects, especially working through all his John Wick stuff, which is part of the reason why I was really looking forward to Highlander from him, because he would put a different spin on it. The story is solid, and if you bring a slight different way of looking at things. And as long as you keep the fantasy element there without trying to go all sci-fi on it, you're good. I mean, you're really good.
Yeah, I mean, you can go all kinds of different places for. I know Ryan Reynolds. Somebody just probably. I know he was attached for a little while, but I'm trying to remember who they had some young kid attached to this newer version. I can't remember who it was offhand, but yeah, I mean, you could get.
Well, I joked at one point that Gerard would really be good to take on the Fililobos character, his teacher.
Well, yeah,
Ramirez, yeah.
Ramirez.
Well, I know at one point years ago they had. What I was really disappointed was there was talks of Ewan McGregor playing the part. I was like,
yeah, I remember
that would have been perfect, and it just all fell apart. And it was like, oh, that would have been perfect.
You wouldn't have to change his accent at all.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. Get a real Scotsman for once to play the part, instead of lots of different places. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Christopher Lambert's character. Like, I like the series okay, but Duncan's not Connor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
Adrian was not
had to address his accent, and the cop says, "You talk funny," or whatever his character's name was. I always forget what he went by at that point.
Ralph Nash, I think.
Ralph Nash, yes.
Russell.
Funny, Mr. Nash.
Russell Nash. Yeah.
Where are you from? Lots of places.
Lots of different
places.
Who wants to live forever? The Highlander.
Oh my God, good Lambert. That's good Lambert.
Well, I've watched it quite a few times. My son's mom was like obsessed with that show and movies. So like I liked them, but like she watched them nonstop. But the first one is the one that really like I can still watch. But like I remember getting so pissed off at Endgame in the theater.
Oh,
like,
I can imagine.
Yeah, so mad at that movie. Like,
I've never watched it. I won't watch it. I refuse to watch any of the other films. I did watch the TV series for a while.
But as far as like a dream cast for it, Jesse, I don't care as long as they can play the role. I mean, that's the thing. It's like Christopher Lambert did a great part, but he's not like somebody who's like I could see as irreplaceable, I guess, and I hate to say that. But I mean, even somebody like like 5-10 years ago, Taylor Kitsch or somebody like that could have played the part real well. Even
he probably still could. Taylor.
Yeah, he's probably young enough still.
Yeah,
but that's the thing is you want to get somebody who's not too old but not too young, because that's the thing. Yeah, they don't want you don't want. Go ahead.
You want somebody right around 30.
Yeah,
that way they could play the part for a while, and still not physically go through.
Yeah, they lost the baby fat, but they're not like looking too ragged yet, and they got a good 10-15 years in them, definitely. So like, I mean, unless anybody has a specific offhand that they can think of, because I'm like
Ted Danson. I think he can do it.
I think Ted Danson would make a better Kurgan, but for me, that's the part that really you should think hard about. I'm not saying that Connor McLeod is easy. But when you're picking your actor, it really does come down to who you're going to pick as Kurgan, because that's a part that is calling for a little bit of change. You want somebody that's brute.
I will be the Kurgan.
I just have a hard time trying to think who could actually play that part, because you do have to be able to act. And Clancy Brown.
Are you saying I can't act?
I'm just saying.
And beat you up.
I'm just saying that Clancy. I got to speak up for Clancy because again, he's a homeboy from Ohio like me. And
no, I agree with you 100%. You're right. You got to get the right. The Highlander himself or the Connor part doesn't matter as much as Ramirez and Kurgan. I think you're right. You got to cast it like a Superman. You got to get your Lex Luthor and your Jor-El or cast first and worry about Superman later. He could be an unknown. Same difference here.
Big T Moore said Sam Hugan, who's in the show The Outlander.
There you go. I think Andre's brought him up before when we've talked about this.
You could also use Lucas Till. Actually, he was in X-Men First Class.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about. That's the thing. There's a lot of great young-ish actors who could probably do it, as long as you cast the other parts right. We got to get.
You don't get. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. I was just finish up.
I was just gonna reemphasize. do not lose the fantasy element, because that is
Right.
what separates it from a John Wick movie or any other type of action film. You've got to keep the fantasy element.
And don't write yourself in a corner like the first movie did.
Yes.
Elijah Snow sends in $4.99. How big of a battle will this be between AT&T and Warner Media? Are they going to sabotage it and make it into Justice League 2 creative seppuku? Or seppuku? Seppuku. How do you say that?
Seppuku.
Seppuku.
Well, AT&T put Warner Media together, didn't they, as I recall?
No, AT&T owns Warner Media. There is no battle.
Well, there is, but there's an internal struggle. I'd call it more than a battle, I guess, because you have the old people there that were working there that have not lost their jobs, that are still there, that are fighting against this whole Snyderverse idea because they had their stuff, in line here. But again, I remind everybody, these are the same fuckers who gave us Birds of Prey, and they've only accidentally made good DC movies at this point. So AT&T, even though these are the same people, are like, oh, there is no Snyder Cut, there's no Snyder Cut, because if the Snyder Cut were to see the light of day, it would make them all look bad, because we all know it has so little to be better than the Joss Whedon version. So it has nothing to really live up to. It can literally be Batman farting for 30 extra minutes and it would be better.
Oh, please let that happen.
Like, it's not asking for much, but no, like what you are saying, like there, and it has been a public thing too, because there's been plenty of people involved over at HBO who have said shit about not being happy about AT&T taking them over. I think there's plenty of people at CNN who have made their concerns be heard. There was some people on the corporate side of things of Warner Brothers who haven't been too happy about this. But there's been a lot of people who've been playing ball. And again, those people who've been playing ball know where the money comes from and the checks are being signed. Because
and on top of that, Warner Brothers has been close. Look, they have been running a good race up to this point as far as them versus Disney. But Disney has been doing just enough to basically win out every year. And I think a lot of shareholders are getting sick and tired of coming in second.
Which is very true, because they should have been way ahead of the game. They should have been way ahead of the curve.
Especially with the comic book films. They have everything they could ever want. You've had people like Steven Spielberg that has been interested in stuff like Black Hawk.
Well, not just that. I just brought up the fact that we should have had a Wonder Woman movie 30 years ago.
Yes. Oh, yeah. But there are so many titles, so many things that they could do, that it is just mind-numbing how they've ended up in this current circumstance. And, when you think about it that way, I'm surprised nobody had gotten mad at them earlier. But again, I think it's appropriate that Dwayne Johnson's standing up and going, hey, you guys need to do something about this. And if you're not going to, I'm going to, or else I'm going to walk, So
yeah, I think it was a lot of the talent behind the scenes that had a lot to do with it too. I agree. And again, even if you don't like the Snyderverse, there's a lot of people who felt like he was done pretty dirty. And when it boils down to is, corporate greed and bullshit. And it's all starting to come out. Whether or not you even agree with the whole thing with Ray Fisher, that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stuff with Warner Brothers themselves. So, And then back to the whole cuties thing. Our good buddy Yellow Flash, like I said, he's in the chat. Hopefully he's still here. He says, "Fuck Netflix." Yeah, I mean, this really pisses me off because Netflix was bringing back Cobra Kai. Then they go and do this. And here's the thing that really upsets me about this more so. I mean, the whole thing in general upsets me, but the way they're handling it upsets me because they didn't even produce this damn thing as far as I can tell. So for them to give it the axe,
they did not. They purchased it.
Exactly. So for them to give it the axe would they'd only be out what they purchased it for. And they still may even be able to get out of certain things.
I think they're doing it for hate clicks though.
But
for outrage marketing.
But how is I gotta imagine they panicked enough to apologize for the poster was what I was going to get to. So that means they noticed enough yesterday that between Twitter and other social media and the cancellations that I know they've had, because I guarantee you they had hundreds of thousands, if not more, cancellations yesterday.
Yeah, and given, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. They've probably are whoever bought the show and gave it the okay is probably somebody of the social justice warrior sort of mentality who doesn't see anything wrong with that.
They did kind of make it worse. I don't know if you did see that deal, Mecca, where
Well, they
somebody
took away the word twerking, I saw.
Well, no. What I'm talking about is somebody actually talked to their customer service rep or
Oh,
something
yeah.
or
yeah,
other.
yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, and they basically doubled down on the stupid, but they're like, oh, so you're basically saying it's okay to be a pedophile or something like that, and they're like, oh, we are open to all type of lifestyles here on Netflix. And blah, blah.
jeez.
It's like, are you
Yeah,
fucking kidding me?
They opened by saying we don't want to take a position on that. We are open.
But by not, and I'm going to turn their own rhetoric against them. By not taking a position, by not standing up, you're saying this shit's okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Put that in your fucking mic and smoke and pipe and smoke it. Fucking A, Rob, help me out here.
Well, I mean, this is basically the same shit though from the other side, and I'm not saying it's okay, obviously, but I'm just kind of making a comparison to where, how they were complaining about Gone with the Wind, and they had to go and take it off of whatever was it, HBO Max or something.
Yeah.
So because those people were offended by it. So I think that they honestly don't know what's offensive by it. And don't understand, like they honestly don't get, and that's I think what's even more upsetting than anything is like that they don't get why they would even have to apologize for it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're right. I think you're right there, Mecca. You make a strong point for sure.
Well, remember when Ren was on and we were talking about that Bert and Ernie stuff?
Yeah, and it's the same kind of thing. I don't
don't
understand.
understand that it's sexualizing children. Basically, they don't.
Yeah, it is.
That it's bringing in an adult theme. This is the same thing when we were talking about that cartoon on Disney Plus, where all we know about it is it's a bisexual character who's 14. It's like, well, I don't want to think about a 14-year-old in that sort of way, or I mean, it's not something that's going to be age appropriate. So, they don't understand that.
Right. And then that's the thing. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
See, the South Park has tackled that before, but the difference is that they have explained why you shouldn't be doing that on a cartoon, why you should be doing that with kids that age. You're imposing something on them that is adult in nature. Remember the whole thing with Butters? And Butters didn't understand what the hell he was saying.
No.
And they had the reprogramming camp.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at something that's like I guess you could call it, I hate calling it equal, but a similar situation. Stand By Me. It's 4 boys, roughly the same age, going through that male rite of passage. But there is very little in that to have anything to do with sexuality. There's, I think, some jerk off jokes. There's the joke with the leech on the penis.
Yeah, well, that's how kids talk, though.
But again, it's all very
really grown
it'd be
up.
Different, though. Yeah. If it'd be different, if it like a great example of a movie about girls coming to age, it's very similar. Is that one with was Christina Ricci and who else was in it?
The traveling
Sisterhood of the Traveling
No,
Pants,
not the traveling pants one from years and years ago. Then and Now.
Yes.
That was a great film.
Then and Now.
A great film
Heathers.
for coming of age girl. Not Heathers, because that's like killing people and shit. But like movies that get on the cusp of certain things, and as long as you're watching them at a specific age, that's
16
fine.
Candles is probably
16 Candles is another great example that tackles some adult content, but not quite to the point where it's. And I couldn't care less if it was gay or lesbian either. But you gotta be age appropriate.
What about the movie Little
here.
Miss Sunshine? That makes fun of beauty pageants for children. Little Miss Sunshine.
I haven't seen it, but I know the movie you're talking about.
It's a great film.
It's Greg Kinnear, Michael. Not that. Crap. What's his name? The guy who plays Michael Scott in The Office.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't never seen
Alan
it.
Arkin. Yeah. Well, yeah, like it's about this. They do a road trip to go to a beauty pageant, and the Abigail Breslin, I think, is like 12 years old, and she does this kind of very, like, she's fully clothed and whatnot, but she like does this like tiger crawl and roar and stuff like that. And it's making fun of these beauty pageants and how obsessive the parents and people are involved with them. And yeah, I mean, it's a really sweet and endearing comedy. It's a dry comedy, so it's not laugh out loud, bust your gut type of thing. But it makes a point about what are the type of people that would subjugate their daughter to something like this, and what are the type of people that would go to this type of thing just to watch and have no actual stake or participation into it. So, I mean, it addresses those issues. Now, sadly, I don't believe that this Netflix film that they purchased is really going to tackle that in a mature way, at least not with the advertising they currently have for it. And yeah, it just seems like it's very in poor taste.
Well, not only that, this is on the cusp of that abortion movie too, where I don't remember if we talked about it on here, but I know we talked about it on Comics' chat and a few other things.
I think I know why they have this, because the director is a black woman and they went ahead with something to not be called racist, and they didn't even bother to check it and see what it was.
Maybe or maybe not. Here's the thing. I think they actually they thought it was going to be okay.
Well, it won an award at Sundance, so.
Well, there's that too. That's what I'm saying. Like they literally, I really don't think they fucking thought it through, because no, somebody at Netflix probably put together that poster, because there was people for some reason, people on the other side from the company, the French company or whatever that made it, they put their shit out there, their propaganda bullshit to excuse their shit. Their excuse is, oh, they used the wrong poster. Like the other poster that they had was any better. I don't know if you saw it, Mecca, but all it was is a poster of the 4 girls walking up like a hill, and they've all they're running up a hill, and they've all got like adult bras and panties and shit on over their clothes. Like, okay, that's a little bit better, but it's still kind of sending a different but similarly mixed message.
It's creepy.
And again, this goes with like the reason I brought up the abortion thing is because here's the thing is you can sit there and argue till you're blue in the face about certain things all day long, but when it comes down to it, you got 11-year-old girls doing what is a sexually suggestive dance, period. It was not created in one form or another to be, titillating or just slightly suggestive. No, it is straight up fucking suggestive. It is what it is.
And even if they don't know it is, like, I think that's, I guess, a good argument is that the kids might not know it is. Like,
kids might not,
but at the same time, the adults should have known better and should have known to not, kids are kids.
Pick something better to make the same movie.
We don't.
You want to see your kids doing that after seeing the movie, because they're going to imitate it, dancing. And
that's the problem.
Well, they already imitated it off of social media anyways, and the parents would laugh at them, be like, "You're ridiculous! Stop doing that! You're too young!" And then hopefully set them right. But
Mecca's right. No, Mecca's 100% right, because you could have done this same exact story with the same exact message and not been about twerking.
Exactly.
You could have picked
if you turn it into a comedy like Good Boys, where it is the boys in that film are around the same age as these girls. But that's done as a comedy and taking, a lot of that stuff.
It plays on their ignorance, too, of a grown-up situation as well.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Well, isn't that kind of the point of that, is they're trying to, see a chick naked or some shit like that anyway?
No, they're trying to get their drone back that they accidentally lost in their neighbor's yard.
Because they were trying to see some chick naked or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, the neighbor or something.
Okay, I knew there was something. Well,
they're Googling how to kiss girls because they're going to their first boy.
Okay, because I've never seen it, but I know it was it's set up like a kind of a kids
set
version.
Up like it's supposed to be a sex comedy, but it's really not.
Yeah, it's not.
The kids they go online to Google how to kiss, and they end up finding porn, and they're freaked out. So then they try to spy on their neighbor who has a boyfriend.
Because I remember somebody told me what the plot was. Because were you still on the show yet, Script, when I told my one idea that I have for my one story?
I don't think so. This came out before I.
Okay, yeah, because somebody freaked out on me. They're like, "Oh, they did your movie. They stole your idea." I'm like, "Well, they came up with it on their own independently." And then they're like, "Oh, never mind. The story is way different than yours." But I had come up with a kind of a quasi kind of a Stand By Me, almost satire-ish kind of movie set in the 80s, where it's about 4 kids who are trying to they're in that 13, 14, 15-year-old age, not quite 15, but 13, 14-year-old age range. Because the whole joke of the movie is, now it's so easy for kids to find porn. But back when we were young, it was an adventure to find porn. So they hear about the mystical porn hut in the middle of the woods that the high schoolers have all their porn stash at. So, in their minds, they have this treasure trove of hustlers and playboys and all this kind of crap. And the whole movie's about the adventure to get there, Stand By Me is, right? Because the whole way there's these older kids that are trying to stop them from getting there. Well, once they get there, it's just a tree stump with a fucking playboy in it. That's, you know what I mean? That's the whole joke of the movie when you get to, but their whole movie, they're building it up in their minds. Like I said, in their minds, it's this whole fucking,
it's like an oasis,
Alibaba. Yeah, the Alibaba's fucking hidden treasure of, like I said, you got every kind of porn you could think of. And, that's kind of the whole joke it's surrounding, is because, you know, like the narrator you have in the beginning, like Richard Dreyfuss going, you know, when we were kids, it wasn't easy to just look up porn on the internet. You know, it's like, you know, you can even set it like in the beginning, he like yelling at his kid for looking at porn on the phone or something, you know, like I can't even remember how I started the story, but I wrote the whole thing out real quick in like a treatment form or whatever, because the story just kind of came to me one night and I've just kind of been hanging on to it for a while, but I brought it up on a podcast and everybody's like, oh, they did your story because of that movie. That's the only reason I brought it up. But anyway, I thought you'd find that story kind of funny.
That's pretty funny.
That's a common thing because I grew up in the 70s and a teenager in the 80s, and half the way we found porn was in the woods.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's that famous tree or whatever that the older kids have it in. But like I said, the kids build it up in their minds that it's the Shangri-La of porn, and that's it's innocent in its own way. Yeah, it's a pornocopia. It's innocent in its own like kind of deviant way, but it's like this is something on a different level. Is my whole point.
I agree.
Kids just trying to see a naked chick, as opposed to these girls dancing like this. Like if they can't see the difference in things like that, it boggles my mind. And then like I said, I've seen plenty of people make the point, and I've made the point myself about how these are the same fucking people who try to make us feel like shit because, you know, we like, you know, something that has some big boobs and is an adult and looks like a woman, like She-Ra, for instance, is a great example. Mm-hmm. And then like we're made to feel like shit for that, but then they do this, but we're being shamed for like.
Well, they want you to feel like shit for it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they want you to. Yeah, you're right. Good point. But let's move on from this. Miguel Hernandez says with $5, when I first watched Batman v Superman, it made sense to me that the Batman in the movie was the Tim Burton Batman. What do you guys think? You could work it that way. Because I think I made the point.
Could be just number 5 in Batman v Superman. It's Batman 5, Superman, Dawn of Justice. Call it that. Works.
Well, I made the point that because then aren't they seeing the mask? Didn't they go see the Mask of Zorro or whatever it was? The same movie that they saw in the '89 Batman.
Yes.
And then that opening scene takes place. I'm trying to remember when.
Well, it takes place in the 70s.
I think that 1980 because Excalibur is also the other film playing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Excalibur's in Batman v Superman. Yeah. You're right. You're right. I think I'm mixing up Joker with that.
Teaser poster on as they're walking by of Zorro, one of the Zorro films. The movie that was on the marquee was Excalibur.
I'm more than able to like believe that they're from two different universes. I have no problems with that.
Yeah. And because now that we've got the confirmation that Ben Affleck is back, and also in smaller print that so is Keaton, the plan, is having Keaton be the Nick Fury of this DC.
We might get 3 Batmen, and I'm not talking about Pattinson. We're not even thinking about Thomas Wayne. Does anybody know anything about the Flashpoint story?
And I've been talking about this with Keith for a while, that I would love to see him as Batman, the Thomas Wayne Batman.
We might get that too, because remember, that's kind of what I think they were always kind of planning on. What's his face?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, yeah.
He would make a great Batman.
I agree.
Dark Batman, yeah. Go ahead, Keith.
He's got a presence and a way about him that is just... It's effective. It's very effective.
Right. And Nelson Shrita is basically making the same point we were. If Cuties were an anime, SJWs would go crazy. Yeah, and there's a lot of people, I think even Az was talking about a specific anime character or something like that they were just going after like a couple weeks ago or recently because she had big boobs.
Hey, I should make another meme like I did for you guys earlier and have Trump say that he really loves cuties.
There you go.
That might be taking a little bit of the wrong way.
In like 10 years, he'll be dating all of them. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't know how that one would roll over. That's got a little bit different connotation to it. Nelson, you're definitely right. Nelson, I believe you're definitely right, though. Adam Wolford, thanks again for sending in $10 this time. Says, if you make the main villain from the first movie for Connor to build up to something like Marvel did with Thanos, having each main bad guy from different villains in each movie. You don't have to. The thing is it could still be Kurgan. Yeah. You just don't have to say that they're the last. or you at least show a way that you know that there's more out there, because that's the mistake they kept putting themselves in the first, I think, and the third film, because in the third film too, he wins the prize again, and even though I think the series was already going on at that point,
then the one immortal that's stuck in a cave gets free, and therefore that resets everything or some crap like that.
Well, then at the end of the movie, though, you get the prize again, though, don't he?
Yeah,
you could make it to where you take the basic plot of the first movie and instead extend it out to make 3 movies out of it.
Oh yeah,
if you got creative with it, you could have the entire first movie just be about Connor in his original time in Scotland, and see his and basically do how they messed it up for X-Men Origins Wolverine, which for me was a better movie in the opening credits than anything that came after that.
Yeah, and
you could see him progress. So each movie you're getting closer and closer. In the second movie, you can make it World War II, and do all of that.
What you could really do is actually do it the same like they did in the first movie, but have it all through the flashbacks. You just don't have to have the fight with the Kurgan in the present until the third film.
Yep.
Like, you don't even know if the Kurgan's still around in the first movie. You could still set it up like just every time he's going into a battle, he flashes back to shit with the Kurgan, his wife getting killed. You know, you still don't know if, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you could even do like take a different angle with parts of the story that they weren't able to do in the first original film, which is, how does somebody like the Kurgan, given how big he is and his attitude towards things, how does that guy take his time going through the decades? I mean, is he changing his name? Is he just the Kurgan? Is he just the
you're right. That's a very good point. Like, you have to set him up better. Like, what I would do in this version, and unless people out there really think I'm off on this, I would make him like the head of a motorcycle gang or something like that, to where he wouldn't stick out.
Something nomadic,
and nomadic, at the same time. Very good point, script. Like, you can have fun with these. That's the thing, is you have, at least you have in mind that even if this, you just kind of, make this first movie a first movie, unless you have the money behind it to make a series, because otherwise you can't bank on this thing, even if it is a remake nowadays, because Highlander's never been a huge franchise. It's always been a niche franchise, even more so than a lot of niche franchises.
Well, I think it was mishandled.
That's the problem, definitely. But that's the thing, is it does have a loyal fan base as long as you're good, as long as you
and they didn't treat the originator of it all that well.
Oh, no.
They bought his idea, and then they tried to make it work. That's the problem with the second movie and on. They took someone else's idea. They bought his script and tried to flesh it out.
Absolutely. So, Adam Mulford, I think that's probably one of the better ways to do it. But again, if it's dead now, we're just all kind of spitballing for no good reason now. The other big news that came out today was Olivia Wilde set to direct. Now, it's a secret movie is what they say here, but everybody says it's going to be Spider-Woman. I don't know if anybody's heard anything more about this at all.
I saw
he tweeted a spider on Twitter, so
I think that this might be a little older story. It may have been confirmed in the meantime of all the streams we've been doing today. But for now, I got this story, unless somebody comes up with a newer one that says more. But I think this is a done deal. It sounds like. I don't know if you want to read that, Rob, or just kind of run through the basics of it.
Well, 1 day ago, Firewood teased what new. It says new Spider-Verse Marvel film.
Okay, now does this through at Sony? Yeah, okay, I was just gonna say it's right in the title. This is that movie that they were talking about what, 3-4 months ago, script, where we were all kind of sitting down and going through trying to figure out what it was going to be. So I don't know if it's Spider-Woman, then it might be Spider-Girl, like Spider-Gwen. I think because Spider-Woman's still over at Marvel. Weird. That's a separate. Well, there's a separate license. Spider-Woman is not over at Sony.
Huh. That's an
interesting. So it's not going to be Jessica Drew,
because I was
Jessica Drew is off limits.
Silver and Black.
Unless they made
Jessica
a
Drew's
deal.
Off limits. But there is another Spider-Woman that's also Arachne.
Yeah, that's
I think her name's Jessica
she's,
Carpenter or something like that.
Oh, I was going to say Silk. Silk would cross. Would
That's
Well,
another name that's come up too, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, let's take a look at her tweet, Olivia Wilde's tweet. See, because she was supposedly.
Well, link it to me if you got it, and I can share it.
Hang on.
But I know a lot of people are saying things, but they got to remember, like, and again, this doesn't mean that Sony and Disney couldn't have made this part of the Spider-Man deal. They very well could have.
That's also true. Yeah.
Oh, she just tweeted a little symbol of a spider on her tweet.
But we've been hearing rumors for a while about a Silk movie and
Silver and Black.
And Silver and Black, yeah, but that doesn't have as much to do with Spider-Man, does it?
You know, I keep saying to people, I freaking can I curse?
It's the same, yeah, of course, Rob. What the?
I fucking warned everybody if you went to go see Into the Spider-Verse and Venom that this would happen.
Rob, are you okay? Are you getting Alzheimer's or?
I got the brain disease.
We're on MEAD. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
I thought, I was trying to be observant of the threshold. You know,
of what?
I don't know.
We're after 15 minutes. We're good.
Okay.
They just worry about the first 15 minutes.
But I fucking warned everybody. You go see Into the Spider-Verse. You go see Venom. They're gonna throw every single spider character at the screen they can. And all it did was serve as a focus group. It's probably going to be a Spider-Gwen movie.
You know you're going to get yelled at. You already are, right?
You're just a racist because you didn't diversity handout special needs Spider-Man.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because Rob's gotten so much shit for it.
Yeah, somebody dug up my old review of Into the Spider-Verse and they circulated on Reddit for Reddit karma. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Oh no, Rob got canceled. Are you even here?
They tried.
These people just think that if you complain about a character or a character who happens to be not white, that has something to do with the color of their skin, because these people only see the colors of people's skins.
I pinned my comments at the top of the comment section for everyone who found this on Reddit. You could have let this just slide off the YouTube cliff into oblivion, but you're just calling more attention to me, and you're giving me more traction. So thank you very much.
Yeah, they've been recommending your videos to me a lot lately.
There you go.
Look, I mean, as far as Spider-Verse goes, in this instance, I don't know how much that has to do with the other. I think it more has to do with the Disney deal than anything, or Amy Pascal trying to make her glass ceiling fucking movie. I mean, I agree with you on most things when it comes to Spider-Verse, Rob, because I mean, I'm just not easily wowed by it. That doesn't mean that people don't have the right to like it, and that's fine. But I just got to remind people it's Pascal Spider-Man, and Aunt May has a fucking bat cave, yo. That's all I'm gonna say.
And Aunt
or
May
a spider pit.
And Aunt May is Amy Pascal holding the keys to the franchise symbolically.
Yeah, she is.
And don't tell me, oh well, you're projecting, Mike. Fuck you, I'm projecting. Nothing is on screen by accident.
Yeah.
But I know like I said.
He's saying that. Isn't that Alfred Hitchcock? Didn't he say that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Alfred Hitchcock was one of many directors that said nothing is on screen by accident.
No, it was Alfred E. Newman.
It's on the blick.
Well, here's the thing Black Phoenix says, and this is what I was going to bring up. Like, it could be Gwen, but as Spider-Woman or whatever, Ghost Spider, like he says here. I know that was one that was going around. We don't know for sure until she announces it, but we know it's Spider-related. And I don't know.
If it is Gwen, it will not be Spider-Woman. I'll tell you that much. Marvel will throw a hissy because that interferes with a character that they could use later. To me, I mean, if you're going to do Spider-Gwen, do Spider-Gwen. You know, just do that.
Well, the whole thing is that Into the Spider-Verse was just a gigantic focus group. They wanted to throw all these characters on the screen, see which one gets a reaction, and then, okay, this is who we're going to make movies on.
Mr. Wolverine 007 sends in $5, says, with the movies beginning to be released at the same time with streaming, I can't help but feel sorry for all the cam footage guys. Dump out a 40 for them. Yeah, I guess there's already footage from Tenet showing up online.
Really?
Yeah. But I will say this, like, where did this go? There was a comment. Just because it won, I understand that people like the movie, and that's fine. But just because it won an award doesn't mean anything. And yes, it wasn't too woke, but it was still woke. Come on, it was woke. You guys are just, you want to be fine with it, that's fine. But just quit attacking Rob. Okay? It hurts my feelings.
Like I said, you just call more attention to me.
I'm picking on you. You don't give a shit.
Yeah, there's plenty of other things to attack Rob for.
Exactly.
Yeah, he actually thrives on that shit. So.
One of the things actually, it dawned on me while I was watching this movie. Gwen Stacy supposedly showed up 3 weeks early, ahead of the other Spider people. First of all, okay, you didn't establish any rules for that. Second, she showed up 3 weeks early, and she started going to Miles's high school. Do you know how many school students there are in New York City? There's 2 million. And but
she's got Superwoman spider sense, so she could figure he was the Spider-Man.
Well, the odds of
she had to follow the spider sense so that they can communicate.
Oh yeah, yeah, right, yeah. Well, the odds of her showing up at Miles's high school, being in the exact same class as him on the exact same day, are about 1 in 200,000. So really, go.
Well, and I got to give anime sports fans some credit. At least he's kind of seeing your point of view too. They do. At least they give him a redemption at the end. I will give him that. I have given him that much credit. But Rob is correct that they pretty much do to Peter Parker in that movie what they did to Luke Skywalker. The only difference was Peter Parker didn't force himself to death. That's the only real difference there.
You're projecting. That's not what that is at all, man. You're projecting. Well, you don't like that Miles is his own character. He's not his own character. Fuck you.
Well, and that's where I step in and I say, but the problem there is they made Miles more like Peter Parker in this version than he is like Miles. So
who says that Peter Parker wouldn't give up on himself? 50 years of history. That's who says. Fuck off.
I have a hard time believing, he would get to the point where he loses Mary Jane and turns into this fat burger swelling swine.
Well, this is another destroy your heroes moment.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's now don't get me wrong. Do they handle it better? Yes, much better. But I also remember this movie when it was called Turtles Forever. So like, I just feel like it's this overrated straight to video movie that's got some animation that people haven't seen before and they're wowed by it. I'm not. It looks like cheap internet animation. Like, I should buy a better internet because I'm not getting enough bandwidth to watch a video. That's what I feel like.
Because it's basically like a stop motion-y, but not really stop motion.
No, it's
like
worse
choppy.
than that. It's choppy.
Kurt Cobain used to wear a T-shirt that said "Kill Your Heroes" and had a picture of Jesus on it. Can we please go back and can I go back and please make sure that T-shirt doesn't exist, because people took that a little too seriously.
You're pretentious shit anyway.
No, I don't want to bring everybody down with the whole Spider-Verse business. So, it is what it is.
Well, then let's focus a little bit on the fact that it's Olivia Wilde. She's only directed 2 films, feature films
what did
in
she
her
direct?
career.
How many
she
movies?
What's that?
You know how many movies she's been in that have bombed?
Many.
I don't
most
know.
of them.
Yeah, this is someone to give a directorial debut, directorial gig to.
That's right.
That's right.
No,
Did you see the picture of her
directed.
with Harvey Weinstein?
Oh yeah, she directed Booksmart, and then she's starring and directing in another one, Something My Darling, I think.
Don't worry, my
And
darling. Or don't
that's
worry.
it. That's all that she has feature-wise under her belt.
Yeah, and Booksmart was just a dumb movie. I hated it.
Hey, look, you see this guy?
I thought it was okay, but
make
yeah,
a
it was nothing
day.
to write home about.
Look at that. Check that
Nobody
out.
cares about Godzilla, dude.
I like Godzilla.
I have Godzilla toys, dude. I'm a big Godzilla fan.
I like this.
Who
one.
isn't a Godzilla fan?
I got like 3 or 4 of these, but this one was a specific.
I got like
favorite
the
of mine.
box set, yeah.
Well, no, this isn't a box set. This is a toy. I have that big.
that's a
I have
toy
the
of,
big box
of
set, but this
Godzilla,
is
not the box set of films. Oh, okay.
I have the films from Criterion, but yeah, this is the 85 or 84 version of Godzilla. I've got like the 50 or 60 something version and the 94 version in this one from NECA.
Wow.
Yeah, a buddy of mine lives in Japan, and he sent me a bunch of Toshiro Mifune miniatures and Godzilla miniatures that you have to put together.
I also bought a Freddy Krueger dildo.
Let me see if I can find it.
See my Freddy Krueger dildo?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wouldn't you want that, Mecca? Freddy Krueger dildo?
Not a dildo, but no.
It's not a dildo. It's the Snake Freddy.
Oh, I've got that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, with the TV.
So I think we know. Here, if you want to screen share here, I think we might know why Olivia Wilde has a movie.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And Zendaya even. I mean.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Guess they were all afraid of him. Leslie Headland, nothing like her.
There's-
That's kind of scary looking there.
Yeah. So fuck Olivia Wilde.
Where's that other hand?
I don't know.
a bunch of these like Captain Harlock, like miniatures from Japan that I had to put together.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know all
That's
about
cool.
that stuff. There's a loose head here. I gotta figure out who's. So.
You should look up the information on your flip phone.
Oh yeah.
Okay, hey guys, remember from EFAP, Spider can see the future. Why not make Spider-Man 2099? He's Latin. My 9-year-old girl can look up to. I think Rob
He's in the
likes.
movie.
Yeah, he's in that
He's in the
movie.
movie.
But
At 2099, but they made him a punchline.
Yeah.
boy, she really hangs out with him a lot, huh?
Were they dating?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It is like Quagmire here. Giggity giggity. All right.
Oh, look at that nasty shit when his belly hanging out there. Oh my god.
Oh, Homer Simpson, like yeah.
Oh my god. And I'm a fat guy. I do whatever I can to make sure my belly is not sticking out.
Yeah, same here.
Jesus
huh?
Christ, there's more pictures of those two together than me and my last 3 girlfriends.
Right?
And she's actually married to the guy that's on.
Put together.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, and of course her.
Meryl.
Well,
We know about her. Oh, here we go.
Well, she was famous before Harvey Weinstein got really famous, so
4-way. Let's see. There you go. Captain Harlock right there. That's actually really cool.
Wow. Captain Harlock. That's a movie.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. These pictures are not flattering.
but they forced him, or he forced them, Mecca.
Oh, I
He
know.
forced them.
Forced them so they could get their way because they went, me too, after.
No, he's the victimizer. Don't forget that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know.
most of these women knew exactly what they were doing.
Why do they have to make me stand up for that piece of shit?
I know. He's not a good guy, but neither are these women. Neither are these women that you guys are like handing these movies to. I mean, you're not fixing anything. You're just keeping it in your little fucking cult.
Well, okay, guys. I don't know if these other guys have seen it, but I do have the official Lucasfilm Leslie Headland action figure. So right there.
I didn't know she was a bullet.
Yeah, Bonnie.
I want to tell you, I like all the Star Wars.
We did the face app on Leslie Headland and all the changes
Kathy,
with the
can I
hair.
have my movie now? Gee, Fred, I don't know if that's the way you get a movie in Hollywood. I talked to Harvey Weinstein and shut up. You're not supposed to talk about that, Bond. Well, gee, Fred, I don't know, but
Wow.
Bonnie, those are my fruity pebbles. No, these are Weinstein's pebbles.
See,
Am I canceled yet?
Queen Kathy, can I please have a Star Wars movie? Please. I want a Star Wars movie. I want one. I'll even do Harvey. Listen, I'll even do Harvey Weinstein if I have to. She doesn't work for us. Damn.
Wow.
That's a good dark turn.
And we're canceled.
I had a George Jetson one somewhere around here, but
Well, you were canceled when you didn't give Spider-Man a pity good review because it has a black character. You know, because they can't, do anything good on their own, according to SJWs.
Oh, I'm a racist earlier, remember? But even though I said the best character on fucking Lower Drex was Cyborg Kid.
Well, no, she only heard that the white guys were competent and the black ones were incompetent.
I never said that shit, but I was the one who was getting zeroed in on.
Because that's all they see is color. That is all they see is color.
No,
so
but that's funny that I was the one getting singled out, but I never even said that shit.
Yeah, and I got guilt by association.
Yeah, I fucking hate everybody else on that show. The only one I've ever said anything positive about is Cyborg Kid.
Colin McAdams, Jabba Dabba Doo.
Yeah, it doesn't count that you hate Boemler for being a whiny little bitch.
I've called him fucking what, twat waffle, because that's what Az called him.
Well, I think I call him not Rimmer, and I call him
I will say
white male or whatever.
I will say I did enjoy Balmer, whatever the fuck his name is, Soy Boy, whatever, looking right for a second, being right.
Yeah,
because they ran him through the ringer like the last two episodes, and I'm like, see, look, duty, attention to detail.
But how does this captain not fucking know this? They already have these things set up and regulations put in place. She has to have him tell her that, there's procedure to fucking, get rid of the aliens on your ship that have boarded you before you fucking go and clean up.
Reason number 12 why I say she's one of the worst characters on the show.
Fuck her. And you know what? Fuck them for writing the black character on the show like a fucking piece of shit. Who's the real racist there?
As Tom always says, because show, right?
Yep. No, like I said, I think I said it earlier. I said she is the worst character on the show, even worse than her daughter.
God, I hate them both. I hate them both.
They're both the worst, but she's the worst. It has nothing to do with the color of their skin. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're women. Because I don't mind Green Chick. She hasn't been that annoying.
See,
I actually felt bad for her at the end of the last episode.
I don't see them as being like I just assume that every human I'm seeing in Star Trek was either like probably raised off world, they're beyond this shit. Nobody cares about the stupid superficial color of your skin because there's aliens out there. There's a bigger issue and they don't know the difference between any of us because we all kind of look the same to them anyway. And they all kind of look the same to us because they're so alien and different. And this is where we kind of progress into that, learning that people are look different. Was
I referring to Rutherford? No, I wasn't. I never even brought him up.
Oh, Rutherford's the name of Cyborg Kid.
Oh, is that? Oh, is it? Okay. See, that's the problem. Only ones I know are Bulmer and
Mariner.
That's about it. Mariner, whatever.
His name's Sam
Spock Jr.
Mikey Spock Jr. Maki Spock. I keep saying Spike. Maki Spock, as Doomcock calls her. I like that name.
Mikey Spock 2.0.
Pronounced Boimler
or something.
You guys don't understand. I can't fucking pronunciate shit. Here's the other half. You know how Arnold Schwarzenegger is great. You know how Sylvester Stallone has half of his face paralyzed?
Yeah.
I have like the same problem. So like I can't really move the left part of my thing. So yeah.
You got face paralyzed.
But anyhow, I can just I'm not as bad as him, that's why. Boimler. It sounds like boiler to me. I don't give a shit.
It does, yeah.
Ensign Soy Boy.
Soy Boimler.
Hey, Keaton.
Yeah.
You got something to say about Lower Decks? No? You got something to say?
Man, you know what? I could go hours, but let me just say this: it's crap on a stick. It's what that show is. It's crap on a stick.
You're being nice to it.
Because even crap use.
Look, for me,
At
all
least
of this
poop
stuff
you can use it as fertilizer.
all of this stuff is just related to the same thing. As far as I'm concerned, all of this CBS Trek stuff it's all related to the Kelvin timeline, and it's all part of its own thing. And I mean, Lower Deck seems like it's made for the same crowd that enjoys the Kelvin timeline. The attitudes of the characters of all of their shows match the same attitudes and the same way things are seen through the Kelvin. There is nobody that exists within the CBS Trek shows or the Kelvin timelines, their attitudes and the way that they run things that match anything that came before 2005 in Star Trek. That is just the plain truth. It's not hating on anything. It's not hating on anyone. It's just that's the way it was written. Period.
So let me hate on somebody. Les Moonves. I mean, he killed Star Trek.
There you go. Star Trek. He basically did. You know, he helped to end Enterprise. He helped to. He's just helped himself left, right, and center, and I'm glad he's gone. That's it. That's all I got with that. I'm not the person to ask about any of that stuff because for me, Star Trek is being basically killed as we speak, and things aren't going to get better until you get people that first and foremost know how to write and have some experience with science fiction, not science fantasy, not sci-fi, but science fiction, which is really what Star Trek is. So if you can't take that, then don't watch it. That's what Star Wars is for, kids. Go watch Star Wars if you want things to go boom. So
there you go.
I'm getting off my soapbox now.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure you're done. Did I miss any super chats here? I just want to make sure I didn't. The other news we kind of had, we did mention earlier, was the whole Ray Fisher thing, and
That's him.
well, they're actually investigating it now.
He makes more than I do. He can go suck it.
Again, I have this issue where, like, I have yet to hear anything that was done to him that anybody else that of any other color, race, creed, sex for that matter, hasn't dealt with already in Hollywood, and why he should get special treatment.
Well,
that's where I'm at, and be pissy with me if you guys want to out there. I understand, but
I'm still waiting for a definitive accusation. That's not something we've already heard of from the women.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing
is the basic concept that Joss Whedon came in, had to shoot a film, and you weren't allowed to talk about Zach anymore. That's really what was going on. No Prozac stuff. Prozac. Prozac. Anyway, but you weren't allowed to be pro-Zach. Well, of course, Joss Whedon's there. Jeff Johns, who's an asshole. He is an asshole.
Yes.
I'm sure he came down heavy-handed on anybody that was felt they were an ally of Zack Snyder, which, of course, Ray Fisher is apparently, in buddy love with Zack Snyder.
So, well, yeah, because Zach gave him literally a career that he didn't really have beforehand.
Exactly. I mean, because he's not very good. We know that. He's not very good. Keith and I have talked about it. I didn't think he was very good as Cyborg. But I prefer Cyborg on Doom Patrol, to be honest with you, despite the costume sucking.
Oh, yeah, he's a good actor, but he's got a terrible costume.
I mean, all that stuff even aside, I don't remember what director said this. It may not even have been a director, but Script probably might know what I'm talking about, or maybe even Rob. But basically, they compare to making a movie to going to war. Because it's an uphill battle, And I think it's the same place I got the saying that, for every 100 million things that can go wrong on a movie, it only takes one thing to go wrong, or for 100 million things it takes to go right to make a movie, it only takes one thing for it to go wrong to tank a movie.
Yeah, Robert Meyer Burnett said stuff like that too.
Who?
Robert Meyer Burnett has said things like that.
Yeah,
as well.
But I think he got it from the same place I did.
Yeah, exactly. Because everything you have to do your job during production. You don't have time for the minutia of BS.
No, again, like I'm not talking about like when a director's asking for sexual favors. I'm not talking about when a director's asking you to put your life in danger. I'm talking about when a director is telling you to do your job. And the reason I brought up that analogy is because making a movie is like that. The director is your general on the field. You have to do what they say without question. Because if you don't, you're costing everybody money. You're costing other people not just money, but there's guys who are working hours and doing other things, guys and girls who are working all kinds of hours, doing all kinds of things that they're doing it just so you can do your fucking job. And when you're going to act like a little prima donna,
a little bitch,
guess what's going to happen? Somebody's going to drag you into the office like a little kid, and they're going to dress you down in your office in front of your parents like a little kid. And that's exactly what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you want to know why it probably happened to him? Because he doesn't know how to act. And I don't mean act in like the actual job, but I mean act on a set. He didn't understand how a movie works, probably. And he got a dressing down, and he's trying to play victim now. Sorry, go ahead.
Imagine if he ever worked with someone like William Friedkin.
Well, we brought up Friedkin, Kubrick, all those before.
Kubrick, look at what Shelley Duvall went through with Kubrick.
Oh yeah.
Well, how about Nicholas Meyer with William Shatner? He ran William Shatner rugged just to get the performance out of him because Shatner was doing what Shatner does best. And Nicholas Meyer
I remember the line was "Quit acting like William Shatner."
Yeah, and they did like 20 takes of him saying "Here it comes" for like when he's sending the transmission, like just because he wanted to get something more natural out of Shatner than Shatner's take on Kirk. And it worked for it. And Bill just said, yeah, I complained about it, but he was right. I got a great performance. And he did it again for him on Undiscovered Country with eating the food. He's like, I'll give you $5 for every bite you take. And Shatner did that. And Nicholas said, sorry, I'm out of money.
I'm always ranting about
said that the Shining was worth it for what she went through. And she went through hell.
I'm ranting about Ray Fisher, Diego. I think that, I'm not trying to say that Joss Whedon may have not went too far with some things, don't get me wrong, but everything that I've heard so far, I'm really hard pressed to see what the fuck he's a victim of, that he has not dealt with, that any other actor hasn't dealt with or known better not to do.
He's jealous because he doesn't have all the lines. He doesn't have the followers, I think. He's jealous because that's what it comes off to me. I'm like, you're just jealous of everybody else that you're like the fifth one down. You were Cyborg. You're not Batman. No one knows who you are.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If you're going to hold up production just because of one little thing, and that's where I was saying, you've got millions of dollars on the line, hundreds, if not sometimes thousands of people in the wings who've done between setting shit up and cameras are rolling and special effects are online and stunt guys are online and these guys are doing, you're holding everybody up. Yeah. You're going to get a dressing down and sure, you're going to get threatened with your fucking career, especially if this is your first time at bat. You really need to take that kind of a thing into consideration.
Yep.
He probably cost him more than he was paid on this movie, even.
Well, considering the situation, probably.
How much does it cost per minute, every minute that you delay something?
Thousands of dollars per minute.
Oh, the script was being rewritten constantly, Ronan Blade. You don't understand. That script was in constant flux. Yeah. That was one of the reasons why I kept saying that no matter what we got on the other end of the Snyder Cut, his vision was fucking compromised from the start.
Yeah, because it started out as a 3-movie idea that then became a 2-film idea, and I think Joss
then became a 1-movie idea.
Yeah,
and then Joss Whedon
started writing long before even Zach was taken off the project.
Yeah, that's what I meant by him being brought on board. Yep.
Yeah, it was just one of those situations where, kind of like, ironically, what happened with Superman and Superman 2. History repeated itself where you had producers.
Where the Salkins were upset with Donner and then brought in Lester. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing,
and-
Neil. I guarantee you, Whedon is an asshole. Most directors are an asshole. You know the directors who aren't assholes? Guys like Zack Snyder. You know what happens? They get shit on because they're too nice.
Yeah. But I'll tell you also.
And I'm not even that big of a Zack Snyder fan. I'm just saying. But anyway, sorry, Gary.
No, I was just saying, adding into that, Jeff Johns definitely is somebody that I wouldn't want to work for in film. But the one thing he's got going for him, and I think it was Neil said something about it, that he's pretty good at comics. But he's not even a hit and miss with the film and TV. I think everything he puts out is garbage. I hear you guys like, or somebody on the show liked the new show Stargirl.
Stargirl was okay. Yeah, it wasn't great.
We don't like it at all. We're annoyed.
Yeah, when you hear me refer to the Justice Society kids, I refer to them as the Juice Box Justice League.
No, that's actually appropriate because they're the weakest part of the show.
Yeah, and you can feel that they're trying to build them up to be more than what they are. I don't think it's really a coincidence that you have that happening on this show, and you have someone like Dwayne Johnson, who is a big fan of the Justice Society. I'm pretty sure Berlanti doesn't like the idea of Dwayne Johnson wanting to do a Justice Society movie because that completely pushes to the side what his idea of the Justice Society is from way back when they were doing like Flash and stuff. You know, look, Berlanti and yeah, I'm sorry. I'm about to spin out of control now. Because I mean, all of that stuff is just kills me as a comic book fan. I mean, to Jeff Johns should know better. Jeff Johns is one of the reasons why Green Lantern tanked, in my opinion, because he should have known better. Greg Berlanti's the other reason, and Mark Guggenheim is still the other reason. Those three idiots screwed up something that should have been so radically easy.
Oh yeah,
and they keep
Their
getting
Flash script
second
was
and
also
third
terrible,
chances.
too.
Oh my goodness, it's bad. And so
it's basically season 1 of The Flash on CW.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And just to kind of cap off the whole director thing too, I'm not going to stick up for Joss Whedon, but I will say this about directors that I think a lot of actors and people who've never been involved in any kind of filmmaking don't understand. Directors got to deal with so much bullshit on a daily basis. Like everybody's problem is your problem, down to the most minute, stupid shit.
Absolutely.
Like
they're the ones in control of the set, absolutely. But like on a Marvel film, the directors aren't really in control of anything. It's the producers.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so like somebody, like, again, I'm not sticking up for Joss Whedon, but when you got some kid coming in like Ray Fisher, who's throwing their dick around and then now using the situation in the climate we're in right now to basically play victim, I'm going to have very little sympathy for him. I do.
I can see that. I just think that in this particular instance, you have a lot of crew people and quite a few of the actors that were really big fans of Zach. And they could see, I don't think Jeff Johns was as Machiavellian as he would like to have portrayed himself. I think everybody knew how Jeff Johns felt, that he wasn't exactly Zach's friend. I think everybody understood in having Joss Whedon on the set to do rewrites initially, and then becoming the director after the fact, didn't sit well with a lot of people. I'm not saying that Ray Fisher, I'm not as up on all of the stuff with him, but I don't think he was the only one. I think Ben Affleck's problems and his concerns with the film and having the reshoots, and all the other actors, I think they just dealt with it the best they could. It's just that Ray Fisher's a little more vocal. Is it right or not? I don't know. All I do know is that you got two a-holes that, along with a former CEO of the company, that screwed an entire production for no good reason. And pretty much the three of them are effing gone. So, I get it, but you messed with the money. You drove an entire film and all the hard work into the toilet because of what? Ego? Really? F Jeff Johns. And I like Joss Whedon, but F him too.
No, it had more to do with bonuses.
True, and it never should have come to that. You can't make decisions like that. When you hire a director, you have to understand, and this is the one thing that I really give Marvel. You've got to understand that what that film needs, once you've gotten into the production, is it needs its director to see it through. If you're not going to do that, if you're going to play games, then of course you're going to lose money. Justice League lost way more money than it should have. They spent way more money on that production than they should have because nobody was in effing control. It's like Kathleen Kennedy. How the hell do you be in charge of so many films that had problems? Almost every one of the movies that she worked on had problems. There were no smooth productions.
I agree with you. And I think if I was the head of the board or if I was in the board, I would suggest, like, okay, their fucking bonus that they think they're getting is going to go towards the production costs because you guys did that just so you get those fucking bonuses. Like, to me, like, and I'd like be like, and I'd be like, if they bitch about it, sue me. I'd be like, fucking sue me. Like, because I mean, it's a big fucking mess. And Diego Flores brings up a great point here. This movie shows why AT&T took the reins from WB because how WB didn't have the courage to pull the trigger on 3 movies. Yeah, well, not just 3 movies, but we brought this up earlier, Diego. They are so far behind the curve. Like, there was no excuse. There shouldn't have been 10 different DC movies before Marvel even got their shit off the ground. Like, DC had it in the bag. The moment, Batman was big, they should have been making more movies. They tried with Superman, They tried with Green Lantern, like you guys said. And I think that goes back to where Feige had been working for a lot of years producing films, and Jeff Johns hadn't. Like, you had two big differences.
Plus,
there.
you had John Peters kind of messing everything up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then if you got somebody like him in the fucking mix, that's all you don't need.
And the fact that you couldn't get your ducks in a row behind the scenes to make this work, they were definitely going to look. They were all set up to fail because nobody had done any real work. They sort of just slid into this thinking it was going to be easy street. Okay, you got to have a lot more respect for someone like Kevin Feige, who is able to plan everything out meticulously and get it to work. Were there some problems? Yeah, it wasn't easy, but compared to the a-holes at Warner Brothers and the way they were running things, well, of course everything went to the crapper. I mean, come on, people. Geez, you got to make this work. And you're spending a lot of money. I would have fired everybody. Sorry.
No.
You're fine.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this, Keith. It's the second time I've heard somebody rage today.
You're right on. No. Well, they did kind of do just that. That's the thing. They did it too often, too many times, firing people, giving people jobs, and then firing them, and then because at any given time it was Zach was the head of the universe, then it was Jeff Johns and Berg, and then it was fucking what's his ass and Ben Affleck was even for a short period there, I think, too, wasn't he? Like, that's the thing. It's been through so many fucking hands at this point, and I got to remind everybody that their first 2 movies got delayed by a year each. Everybody forgets that Man of Steel and Batman v Superman both got delayed a year.
Yep.
And they really didn't want that to happen with Man of Steel because they had to get that out in order to retain the rights.
And another thing should be pointed out, because a lot of people, including myself early on, criticized Zack Snyder over Man of Steel, when in fact that was a cookie-cut film. Zack Snyder had no wiggle room. He was given that script and told to shoot it exactly as it was.
That was Goyer. That was a lot of Goyer.
Yeah, they
ended up adding on that the entire Zod fight at the very, very end. That was tacked on at the end. That wasn't even in script form when they started production.
Yeah.
Oh no, that movie has a lot of problems. Definitely. Anyway, you're saying
they brought in a lot of the Dark Knight crew, a third of that crew, to help start work on Man of Steel. Man of Steel as a film feels different than all the other movies because you're using part of the Dark Knight crew to work on it.
Well, that was because there was a point where Warner Brothers still was like desperate to try and connect Nolan's Batman universe with a Superman.
Well,
Like,
they wanted Nolan. They had a hard on trying to get Nolan to make it.
well, I think that's another reason why there was a lot of animosity towards Snyder to begin with, and then add in that basically whatever they did, they told whoever it was told Goyer to just basically make Batman Begins as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which he
that
kind
Yeah,
of did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, Goyer is the Alex Kurtzman of the DC verse.
basically yes. Oh, Goyer, I fucking hate that motherfucker.
Oh,
Goyer's
I-
been writing his Dark City association for like 25 years.
I remind everybody, this is the motherfucker who wrote Demonic Toys.
It's such a piece of shit film.
Oh yeah.
That's the best movie he's written.
And he's trying to imitate Frank Miller, which is even worse.
And maybe, I guess, Dark City. He didn't write that one by himself.
No, he did not. He came in later to put a little bit of a flair on it, but because that movie is like a cult classic, he's been able to ride that for a very long time.
I'm probably willing to bet that Goyer just sucks in general. I've seen enough shit.
does.
He's a douche.
How he
He
works
comes
in
off like a
Hollywood these
major
days,
fucking douche.
Yeah, I don't understand how he still works in Hollywood. I mean, he got very lucky with Blade, and that helped him get to Batman.
Oh yeah, that
Begins.
was the other one too. Yeah.
But like, yeah, he's basically just the luckiest guy in Hollywood as a writer, as far as I'm concerned, because he's like Akiva Goldsman. He is really terrible at his
Oh, and
job, in my
Blade just
opinion.
proved that Blade 1 and 2 were being carried by the directors.
Yep.
I killed that conversation.
Keith disappeared.
Oh,
That's
he
right.
was having phone issues because it sounded like he was. We're gonna be wrapping up here fairly soon anyway. But what else was there we were gonna talk about, Mecca? I can't remember now. Rob, do you
That's
remember
right.
anything else? Oh, knock it off.
Hey, Rob.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Rob.
What? What's up?
Hey, I know you're not tech savvy, but I sent you a friend request on Facebook. You need to accept my friend request, bro.
Come on. Let me see what we got here.
Rob got himself a lazy puppy.
Oh, that's so cute.
Okay.
He's probably proud of it.
And yeah. Michael? Okay.
No, it's Gary, not Jerry.
Gary, not Jerry.
Jedi Master Zetopia, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says Warner Brothers couldn't get DC off the ground because they let directors lead their movies. Marvel is producer driven. Kevin Feige maps stuff out over several movies. Warner Brothers doesn't have the will to commit to the long game. That's part of the problem. Like you had like we make fun of Kathleen Kennedy for firing more directors than she's hired. Well, DC has had more whatever you producers or whatever than they have fucking movies at this point, like literally. And I'm not even kidding.
Well, there's been like what four turnover changes for the Flash film alone.
Yeah, just for one movie alone. So like, yeah, you're right there. They've already almost got themselves beat. So you're right on that script. Like, so yeah, like WB just has to get their shit in the bag.
Well, that's the reason why AT&T is having to step up. I mean,
what?
Yeah, well, Jedi Master's right. If they get a good producer to lead the DC franchise, but they are able to reconcile it so that the directors can still have their own flair with the films, like the first 3 Marvel movies that Paramount did, then they'll definitely be leaps and bounds ahead of Marvel because there won't be a staleness to the overall franchise. There'll be at least something that a director and a writer can bring to the overall goal and direction of the series that will at least allow it to stand on its own instead of being kind of like blended into this mess of what Marvel has become for its last 6 movies.
the cosmic. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Keith.
I was going to say the cosmic area of DC is rich and full. You have Adam Strange, Captain Comet. You have the Dark Stars. Notice I haven't even said Green Lantern. You have the Manhunters. You have Hawkman. Heck, for comedy, you got Space Cabbie. You got the Legion of Superheroes, which is pretty much you take the X-Men, you put them in the future, you combine it with J.J. Abrams' version of Star Trek, and that's the Legion of Superheroes. It is so easy, and nobody can do any real research for stuff that they already own to use it. And that's just the space, the cosmic part of DC. That's not even touching anything else. House of Mystery.
The magical part. There's a huge magical world too.
Oh.
There's Zatanna.
Yeah.
There's Nubu and Dr. Fate.
House of Mystery
bring in
should be a
Vixen from
TV
that as
show.
well. Yeah.
The House of Mystery should be a television show.
Well, I think it just goes to show that, like, Warner Brothers, they've gone to shit over the past few years. And I mean, I think there's an argument to be made for what the Marvel Universe has done, no matter which way you approach it now on the other end, because I do agree with you on a lot of your points, Keith, because I've said the similar things on how they should have approached this. You have the fundamental issue now, though, is that the proof is in the pudding that when you let directors come in and just kind of take over, as opposed to having an overall vision when it comes to these franchises. Now, I'm not talking about individual films.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about like these big comic book type franchises like Marvel, Star Wars, DC.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned from DC and we've learned from Star Wars and we learned from a few other places that if you let these directors come in, you're going to have issues because you get The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the director has to come in knowing that they're working as a team for an overall bigger project, but still be able to put something of a stamp on it to not throw it off the rails, but just to build more towards the end goal. And
there's nothing wrong with
it look. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, there's nothing wrong with treating these franchises almost like running a television show, which is what Kevin Feige has done.
Exactly. Yes.
Or a television franchise.
Oh yeah, like he's the showrunner, and then every single the equivalent of the staff writer would be the director of whatever film is the project, and they get to work on their particular film. They go on set to do all the directing and stuff, and if big problems happen that they can't solve, Feige comes in to take the reins for that situation. Then he hands it back over to them to finish it off. That's a good formula for these long form franchises such as like DC Comics and Star Wars. The only thing that, as I've said earlier, is that Marvel has there's no separation of identity among their films once you get past Age of Ultron. They all kind of feel like the same color palette, the same kind of blending together of tone. You could probably mix and match scenes from various different movies and unless you're a diehard Marvel fan, not really know which movie they belong to.
And
so that's to his detriment, but it's not necessarily going to kill them at the box office, but it's definitely going to wear thin faster than they were expecting.
And that's the reason why the success of Joker from Todd Phillips is important. It's not that it has to be part of an overall picture, but having someone bring in a different view and shooting a film in a different way helps. There is no reason why Warner Brothers can't develop some of their off-brand comics and continue the line of work they began with movies like The Losers or Red.
Right.
Or even with
Red they sourced out because that was put together by Lionsgate.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, it's you're taking all these comics and you're doing them sort of like in a different way, to the point where even I think a majority of people that saw those films didn't even know they were based on comic books.
Oh no, never. They generally didn't. Go ahead and finish your point. Sorry.
Oh no! I'm done. It's just
Dark Favorite Saber Force sends in a $2 super chat. Says, "No wonder Hitchcock said actors are cattle." I'm going to give you a rant since you sent in $2. I hope you haven't heard this one before, but it's a pretty popular one of mine. Actors are a bunch of narcissistic idiots. They're not people.
They're not people. They're beasts.
All they care about is themselves. There's a reason why people like Ray Fisher are trying to make themselves this like, ooh, poor me baby victim, is because it's all about them. Look at and Ellen's a perfect example. She's the problem, yet 3 of her top producers got fired.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing here, folks. Like, the actors are fucking nothing but narcissistic morons. Now, some of them are probably very intelligent people, don't get me wrong, but their narcissism gets in the way. Brie Larson's another perfect example of one of these.
Well, just take a look at that chick who played Black Canary in Birds of Prey. She doesn't know what she's talking about most of the time. Whenever you see her interviews and she tries to address the subject matter, Pattinson. Well,
Pattinson's
yeah,
another
Pattinson
one,
as
yeah.
well.
Even if it is an act, it's still a stupid act to have. I mean, it just they think they're above it all. And this pandemic has shown us the truth. Like, look at the fucking videos. They're responsible, folks, and they imagine.
I
Woo.
take responsibility. It's all about me.
See?
I think really you need to have somebody come in that can not only or should not only see DC as just a place for superheroes, but as a place where you have all these other different types of comics, or that you could take comic book superheroes and put them out there in a different way. And I think the point that I was trying to make with Joker is that while the Joker is known as a character that is connected to Batman, it was very smart of Todd Phillips to be able to work the character in such a way as to almost sort of have its own world and to make it kind of like the taxi driver of the DC universe. And I think if someone were to come in and try to create their own spy line for DC, because Amanda Waller is attached to so many spy groups within the DC comics that you could come off with, like, you could end up having a series where it's like a James Bond type character connected to a John Wick character, connected to, I mean, you've got that with Amanda Waller and Checkmate. You have that with King Faraday and the Danger Trail comics. You have that, I mean, you have all of these secretive type organizations just within the DC universe. Whereas with Marvel, they've blown their wad a little bit by having everything under S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then getting rid of S.H.I.E.L.D.
and getting rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. But with DC, it's wide open.
Comics is something a lot of people seem to have forgotten about is the race called the Starks in Marvel, where some of Iron Man's technology ended up on another world, and they adapted it into making their own armored characters, and they ended up becoming a whole problem in the MCU. Well, comics.
Yeah. Well, and again, there is so much that DC has. What you really need is you need someone who actually knows the comics deeply, intimately, that can team with someone else who's at least good at organizing all of this, and someone else who's good at execution. You almost need three people to basically fix what is wrong right now with Warner Brothers. Now, some would say that you kind of got at least one of those people with Dwayne Johnson. He seems to know comics, and he's got the gravitas and weight behind him to at least get AT&T to side with him to try to get a lot of this in order. But you're going to need someone else who's actually kind of like your real Kevin Feige with a production experience. You need someone that knows how to do that, and there's got to be somebody willing to step forth to do this, because at this rate, we're spinning our wheels at this point. You know,
I imagine there's a number of people that are able to step forward and do it. The problem is, will AT&T or Warner Brothers want to hire them?
True.
Well,
because Kevin Feige was in a position where he pretty much can do what he can do now, but he probably had the ambition of trying to do this when he first started 22 odd years ago.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time for him to build, for whoever is going to step up to build that reputation if they haven't already been doing it. And even then, Kevin Feige kind of came out of nowhere to a lot of Marvel fans. I mean, I knew a little bit about him from X-Men and from Lauren Schuler Donner's production company, because she's one of the best producers in Hollywood, even to this day. Good team player, hard ass, but like gets things done. But yeah, like he learned a lot from that, and he was able to roll that experience up and move his way through these movies to create what we now have as the MCU. But he was only one player, because Perlmutter was another one, and there's another producer that's escaped me at the moment that helped bring this all to fruition. And Yeah,
well, Amiara
it's just
argued for a lot of this. After his experience running up against Tom Rothman at Fox helped to bring Perlmutter to the idea. He brought Perlmutter into the idea that Marvel should basically start its own production studio rather than having to make all these separate deals with studios and start all over again. Tom Rothman truly is the reason why the MCU exists.
Yep.
His underhand dealing and all that other stuff it made everything possible. So to that end, I think every MCU fan should send him a Christmas card or at least a big fat FU. So
yes, the MCU is all my doing. Hello. Hello, I don't understand. The Deadpool, he had such a potty mouth on him. I had no choice. Hello.
Hey, Tony.
Oh, Frank, how are you?
Let's go get high.
Oh, well, you got the good stuff, Frank.
Let's go back. I got a card, man. I can get all the good stuff.
Is Kathy out of town?
I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, let's just hope that Brie Goyle doesn't show up. She always
don't say her name more than once, maybe twice. She'll show up like Beetlejuice. That shit's crazy. That bitch is crazy on a stick.
I know, but you think Brie would be a nice girl, but she's not.
I had no idea.
Maybe that idea.
No, this is awesome.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. It's just gibberish.
We have to go talk about making Congo 2, okay?
That I can understand. Let's go. I got the good stuff, like you said. Let's go. Out back.
Congo.
You can buy Congo on Blu-ray for $9.99 on Amazon. But now here's the thing, though, Tommy. You're gonna have to buy the rights to get it over there at Sony.
Okay, we'll buy the rights. We'll give you a couple of shekels.
I will say this though, I can foresee, and this is going to sound bad, but I can foresee somebody connected with Warner Brothers thinking that they could probably bring in another big name director to help make a movie. I could see somebody wanting to bring in someone like a Michael Bay and doing something like a Legion of Superheroes film.
Well, and I think that'd be against their better interests. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think where they're losing out, or at least they're missing the bigger picture here, is look at what they've done with Todd Phillips. Not a huge director, but he's earned his way up the ranks.
Yes.
Same thing with who's the other one I'm thinking of? Yeah, that's the one. I'm thinking of.
Lady.
Yeah,
Catherine Bigelow.
Maybe.
Oh, she'd be perfect.
Who's the one that directed? Damn it, I'll think about it. Hang on.
Well, Catherine Bigelow, I think, would be phenomenal if you brought her in to do something like.
Oh, Muschietti, that's his name.
Guy
who's doing the
Guy
Flash.
doing Flash, and
he's actually kind of earned. Yeah, he's earned his way up the ladder. I'm kind of trying to say. Sorry about that, Keith. Continue.
I would love to bring John Carpenter out of retirement and give him a Batman film.
John Carpenter. I don't think he can.
I don't think he can do it either. He's just
not these days. No, like 20 years ago, yeah, but
like right up to that point where he made that Mars movie. He was doing
Ghost
great.
of Mars, yeah.
And then he made Ghost of Mars, and I was like, because I'm a huge Carpenter fan, and I was like, what in the hell is this?
I think he knew it was time to hang it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There are a list of directors out there who are talented that have never really been given the call to actually do anything else. And to me, Catherine Bigelow, to me, is at the top of my list of directors that have the skills who've never been asked to do anything at this level or with this genre, I should say. She, in my opinion, could do a King Faraday movie and have him team up with Amanda Waller. I mean, that could be coming off of the Suicide Squad. If you were to launch your own sub kind of spy universe for DC, that would mean a lot because nobody would see that coming. And if you could attach that tenuously to other movies that have already been made, like The Losers and Red, you would have an instant universe that would have loose ties to the superhero end of things, but you could still keep it all sort of like spy type stuff, and then add in like your super spies, like Checkmate, you know? So
And Cadmus and all that other stuff.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just
no. I'm just looking at the clock here. We've been going for almost 2 hours, so we should probably call it a wrap. I mean, it was a great conversation. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's just getting to that point. I think we've done good enough that other than Rob,
but you've been streaming for at least 4 hours, right, Tom?
Oh, at least, and then I got more later. Rob gets a lazy puppy, but we get a maximum effort puppy.
He's a new pope.
Oh God.
Thomas.
Journey's a new pope.
I am Papa Bye. Got a Bobby with you.
Yeah, screw Bob Iger. What about Journey? What about Doggy?
What about the doggy? Papa Iger likes the doggy. Yes, the doggy. Very good. Hallowed be his name.
Looks like I gave up a snipping glue too soon.
That is right. You gave it up too early. Praise be to Bob.
Hey, Paycheck Daddy. Paycheck Daddy.
Yes, son.
Can I be in the Star Wars?
You can have anything you want, my girl.
Do I get a lightsaber?
You get a lightsaber. Just don't turn it on.
Oh.
Don't get
a lightsaber.
You can have a lightsaber. Just don't get it wet.
Don't drop the taco.
That is right. Don't drop the taco. Yes, go play with Mike Marshall.
Paycheck Daddy. Paycheck Daddy.
Yes.
Why is there a black lady directing my Captain Marvelous too?
Because it is all about the diversity, Bilasan.
But I want to direct that.
I'm sorry you do not get to direct Captain Marvel.
I directed a movie.
Blah 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 blah.
It's a metaphor.
You don't see Scarlett Johansson complaining.
All right, we've lost like 40 fucking people. All right. And that's not even exaggerating. Everybody check out the Pop Culture Minefield. I said that right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, Pop Culture Minefield, and check out Mecca's channel, of course. You've been dropping videos regularly, and Script Doctor's been ripping it up over there.
Soon, too.
You got another one coming soon, so there you go.
The whole review, yeah.
Oh, there you go. She got a review coming soon for Lower Drek, I'm imagining.
Yeah, I've got mine coming in a couple of days as well. I finished the script for it, so tomorrow I'm going to give it a rewrite pass and then start working on that to release hopefully before the end of the weekend.
Outstanding. I had a review earlier today, but I wiped afterwards.
So
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum.
We lost 40 people. We lost 40 viewers.
Yeah, we lost more than that.
We just lost 40 more. Anyone else want to leave?
And for like those who like Sander who could watch an hour of this, which we appreciate, you know, we got to keep it to a minimal. Anyway, do check out our brand new t-shirts if you feel like you're Batman. There's gonna be so many Batmans. We all can be Batman.
Batman's gonna be like Jury Duty.
I'm proud of this design. Culture Casino helped me put this together. So
that's right. You better like this design or else.
Rob's got guns. He doesn't have felonies either, so he can have all sorts of guns. He's a goody-goody two-shoes. Okay, Rob. All right. Diego Flores sends in 5 more Peruvian souls. Says, "This is because Bob Iger came. I want more of him with Frank Miller."
Frank Miller, huh?
Frank Marshall.
Frank Marshall, yeah.
All right. Is it time to go bye? Thank you, Diego Flores. Time to go bye-bye.
Hey guys, you got some cold water? Tom Robbins, fucking lightweight.
I want to thank you guys for having Keaton on here, man. It was great.
He smoked like 3 hits and he's out.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for the invite. I've always dreamed of being on this show with you guys, and
He's serious. That's all he ever talks about. Why do this you, Gary?
If this is your dream, if this is your dream, you need to be more ambitious.
I gotta agree with Rob on that one. But anyway, check out these guys on their channel. Check out Script. Check out Mecca. Check out all our friends, of course. Check out our brand new T-shirts at Mixed Tees. I'm Batman.
That guy's not Batman.
And as always, thank you so much for checking us out here on Midnight's Edge After Dark, because we know that this show
sucks camel dicks.
But you still love us anyway. So take care and have a good night, guys. Y'all have earned a Fenton.